All right, so, are you ready to dive into some seriously fascinating history? Because today we are going back to 6th century Europe
Ooh, okay.
to explore the life of Saint Goar.
And what a story it is.
Hmm.
We're lucky enough to have excerpts from The Life of St. Goar by Wandalbert of Prüm to guide us.
Okay.
It's a fascinating blend of history and legend.
Mm-hmm.
It was written centuries after Goar actually lived,
Okay.
which just adds another layer for us to kind of unpack here.
History with a bit of mystery. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
So who was this Saint Goar? From what I've read, he wasn't really your typical reclusive saint.
That's an understatement. The
Okay.
text paints him as this almost larger-than-life figure,
Right.
generous, kind, and really devout. And keep in
Mm-hmm.
mind that this was a time when the church was gaining significant influence.
Right.
So demonstrating piety through acts of charity wasn't just admirable, it was a social and political act.
Okay, so Gore's generosity had some serious weight behind it.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounds like he didn't have a fan club everywhere he went. Right.
What is the deal with these rivals that the text mentions?
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Alboin and Adalwin.
Okay.
They were jealous of Gore's reputation,
Hmm.
and they accused him of, wait for it, gluttony.
Gluttony.
Yes.
The guy who shared everything with the needy. Talk about a reach.
Right. But their accusations reveal a deeper tension brewing. I
Quite
think they were
difficult.
essentially trying to discredit him,
Mhm.
perhaps because his influence threatened their own.
So it was more about power dynamics than actual overeating.
I think so.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting,
Yeah.
right? Divine intervention kind of enters the chat.
Oh, absolutely. The story goes that these rivals, under the pretense of needing supplies for the church, spied on Gore.
Mhm.
Later, when they ask for food for their journey, Gore, being the ever-generous soul he is, obliges.
Okay.
But as they travel, a strange thing happens. They're struck by intense hunger and thirst,
Hmm.
only to find the stream has dried up and the food bags that Gore gave them are completely empty.
Talk about karma.
Served cold, or maybe in this case, incredibly parched and hungry.
Yeah.
But you have to wonder, for the people hearing this story back then, this wouldn't have just been a funny anecdote.
I know.
This was proof of God's direct involvement in their lives.
Exactly. It's easy to read this now and think, oh, a convenient drought and some questionable food storage.
Right.
But in the medieval mindset,
Yeah.
this was a clear case of divine justice.
Right.
God wasn't some distant figure. He was actively engaged in the drama of daily life, rewarding the righteous and punishing the wicked.
Oh.
And it wasn't always subtle about it either.
Not subtle at all.
No.
But let's not forget, Gore, ever merciful, ends up healing the rivals after they confess and apologize.
That's right.
It's a good reminder that even amidst the drama and intrigue, he was still deeply committed to his faith and its teachings.
It certainly adds a layer of complexity to his character.
Yeah.
He's not just a holy man calling down miracles. He's someone who embodies forgiveness and compassion, even when faced with deception.
It makes you wonder what else this guy got up to.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the time he was put on trial and his star witness was a baby.
Oh my gosh. This story is wild. So picture this.
Okay.
Gore is brought before the bishop on some trumped-up charges, orchestrated by, you guessed it, people who were jealous of his influence.
Oh, really?
And just when it seems like things are going south for Gore, a miracle occurred.
A miracle that just happened to be a newborn infant.
Exactly. This
Okay.
tiny baby, barely 3 days old,
Wow.
suddenly speaks up in court and in a voice clear as day names the real guilty party.
Oh, my goodness.
And guess who it is?
Don't tell me it was the bishop all along.
You got it. And we're not talking about some minor infraction here.
Right.
The baby reveals some seriously scandalous behavior on the bishop's part,
Oh, my.
throwing the entire court into chaos.
Wow, that's a plot twist worthy of any medieval drama.
Right.
That makes you realize that even in those times, those in positions of power were far from perfect.
Absolutely.
Right.
It challenges this kind of romanticized view of the medieval period as this era of unwavering piety.
Right.
The reality, as we are seeing, was much more nuanced.
Yeah.
There were power struggles, scandals, and human flaws, even within the church hierarchy.
Speaking of scandals and positions of power, what happens to the bishop?
Yeah.
And does this mean Saint Gore, our champion of generosity and baby-approved virtue, gets a promotion?
Well, the bishop is understandably in a tough spot after the whole exposed by an infant incident.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Gore, being the epitome of forgiveness, actually prays for the bishop's redemption.
Wow.
Not just a quick prayer either.
Really?
He vows to spend 7 years interceding for the disgraced bishop.
7 years. That's some serious dedication. What was he doing during all that praying? Surely even a saint needs something to break up the monotony.
He is far from idle. During this time, a basilica is being built in Goar's honor. And in a detail that perfectly captures the growing reverence for him, the text claims that rain would fall all around the basilica's construction site, but never directly on it.
Wow.
It's like even the elements recognized his holiness.
Okay, that's either a really impressive architectural feat or a testament to his saintly reputation. I'm going with the latter.
Right.
Imagine being a construction worker on that project, though.
I know, right?
Talk about divine intervention you can really appreciate.
Yeah.
So the basilica is built, but the story doesn't end there, does it? We haven't even talked about the relic translation. You're right. Relic translations were huge events back then. It wasn't just about moving bones. It was about honoring a saint, attracting pilgrims and sometimes showing off little divine spectacle.
Exactly. And when it came to spectacle, Goar's relics did not disappoint. Decades after his death, with the new basilica finally complete, the search for his remains began.
Okay.
And of course, because it's St. Goar, they were miraculously discovered.
Hmm.
But here's where things get interesting.
Okay. Let me guess the relics put on a show.
You could say that when they tried to carry the relics in a grand procession to the basilica,
Yeah.
they were completely immovable.
Really?
It was as if Goar himself, even in death, was saying, let's not make a big deal out of this.
Even his relics were humble. It's fascinating how this story emphasizes Goar's humility,
Yeah.
a quality highly prized by Christians then and now.
It really does.
Yeah.
And the fact that this detail was included in the text, even centuries after his death, speaks volumes about the impression he left on people. It reminds us that history isn't just about dates and battles.
Yeah.
It's about the legacy of individuals like Goar, whose stories continue to resonate across centuries.
Absolutely. He wasn't just a miracle worker. He was a complex figure navigating a turbulent world with a really unique blend of generosity, piety, and a healthy dose of humility.
And that's what makes diving deep into sources like this so rewarding. We uncover not just the events themselves,
Right.
but what they reveal about the beliefs, anxieties, and values of the people who told and retold these stories.
I agree. It makes you think, what would someone like Goar make of our world today?
It's an intriguing question. But I think the core of his story, the importance of generosity, compassion, and staying true to your values even in the face of adversity, those are timeless messages that continue to resonate even in our modern world.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the extraordinary life of St. Goar.
From hanging his cloak on a sunbeam to the captivating tale of his immovable relics, this deep dive has certainly been one for the books.
It really has. And to our listeners, we hope this journey through history has inspired you to keep asking questions, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover a hidden story waiting to be rediscovered. Until next time.